Alright guys, so as you know, my Xbox 360 died, the old one. It's finally dead. Lasted a long time, but it's finally dead. So I got the new Xbox, the Xbox 360 E, only to find out that all of my stored ISOs don't work on this Xbox because they have to be played on the original Xbox that they were installed on, which is now there in bits. So in this video, I'm going to teach you guys how to take apart the Xbox 360 E, install the ISO mod that you want, and put it back together with no damage to the machine whatsoever. Alright guys, so as you can see, I've got World at War ProjectX, and it plays on the brand new 360 E. So let's jump into how I did it. First of all, you're going to need a T10 screwdriver, one of those. You're going to need a positive screwdriver, one of those. Pair of tweezers if you choose to keep the warranty sticker on it. A razor blade, a very small flathead screwdriver. You're going to need a spludger. You can get them from any iPhone repair kit. Or you could probably just use a credit card, it'd probably work to the same effect. You're going to need a longer, bigger flathead screwdriver. Now we're going to use this for prying off the back tool, the back plate, sorry. And then I use this to eject the CD drawer. Now that's just a piece of steel in a pair of pliers because it just reaches in. You can use a paper clip, it'll work exactly the same. So yeah, let's do it. Alright guys, so first thing you want to do is unplug your Xbox from the power, unplug your internet cables, all the USBs, everything. Make sure there's no disc inside it. Take your spludger, and what you want to do is run it underneath this little gap here. There's a little gap around the front and around this side. Now, if you just gently run the spludger under this gap, the top plate will just lift right off, just like that. And then I'll turn the Xbox over, and we'll do it on this side as well. Probably better if we take the hard drive out. Now this is not an actual hard drive from an Xbox 360 E. It's actually a hard drive from an original Xbox. It's been taken apart. It did come in one of those, and it had a little funny adapter that plugged into the original Xbox, but you don't need that. All you need is that. Right, and then you can do the same with this side. You just run it under, keep it held where you've released it, and then it won't pop back down. And just be gentle with it. Basically run it all around the Xbox. I'm trying to keep my hands out of the way so I can show you. But basically, if you run it around enough times, it should pop right out. The bottom piece is a bit harder than the top, I will admit. Right, and then what you want to do is, now inside here you've got your wireless card. Now you need to take that out with your T10 screwdriver. Make sure you don't damage the chip inside. Just grab it by the very corner, just like that, where there's no bits. You place it down on there. Right, and then the tricky bit comes in. Right, so basically what you want to do is, inside here you've got some little clips, and inside here you've got some little clips. So we'll take our longer flathead and we'll free that one up. While we're holding that, we can go around to this side. Now this one's a little bit harder. but actually both of the clips on this side are actually harder. There's one underneath there and there's one underneath there. But the second one comes off pretty easily once you've got the first one undone. Now you can see the first time you take your Xbox apart, it's going to be a lot harder than that. But I've taken this apart before, so that's why. Now, if you push on the inside, like I've just done, on this where the barcode is, you can see where that clip is. Should release this little knobble from the inside of it, and then you'll be left with that. We don't want to take the front off yet. Put that over there. Make sure it's fine. Now this is the part where your little paper clip or your little pin comes in. So right here on this part you're going to see a little yellow circle. Now if you push your little pin directly into that, it should release the disc tray like this. There we go. And you're going to want to pull that off and gently release the faceplate off your Xbox, but be careful not to damage that little ribbon in there. Now how we take that ribbon off, you're going to need your razor blade and you're going to want to edge it underneath that little piece there. You see there's a little, you probably can't see it, but there's a little piece of sticky foam that holds that piece in place. Don't go ripping it with your hands, get a razor blade underneath it because you will rip it. And basically what you want to do is go in there with your razor blade or a little screwdriver and you pull your ribbon out. And once you've got it in that state, you can just lift the faceplate straight off. Pop that over there. Right, now this bit is where you're going to find, I haven't got the screws in on this one because I don't need them, but if you've never taken your Xbox apart, you probably will. You're going to see screws in these locations. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there, there's one there, and there's one there. You're going to want to take all of those out with your T10 screwdriver. Make sure your disc tray is still open a little bit, and then all we're going to do is gently remove the top, just like that. Right. Now I've seen a few tutorials on YouTube saying that you don't want to take this apart, but obviously to ISO it, you're going to need to. So don't listen to what they say. Just be very careful inside here. Now what you want to do is try not to move the disc tray too much, but you want to take that yellow red wire and that SATA cable out. So that one's quite easy. You can just pop that one out. If you can, lift the back up just ever so much so you can get your hands in. Get some fingernails behind the SATA cable and just pull it out. Just like that. And then your disc tray should come straight out. Watch that little prong on the side, because if you damage that, I can probably say you're not going to be happy. Then you end up with a box. You can sit over there for now. Right, and then you're going to get your tiny little flathead. You need to run around all this with this foam here that stops the CD tray from slamming into the side. You're going to want to run it off just like that and have it hanging loose somewhere like that, because we want that piece. Well, I do. You take the rubber off the back of it, and then you've got 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, which require the plus head. So if we don't drop it, if we go ahead, take those out. once you've got that piece dangling there, it won't stick these two halves together. So you can take the bottom off, like that. And then what you're going to want to do is ever so gently lift it. Get as much purchase on it as you can. And once you've lifted it ever so slightly, it should just slide out of its housing. Use the word should. Come on. Take time with it. If you can't get it straight out, just be very gentle with it. It will come just like that. You don't want to damage any of this, because you damage this and your Xbox is pretty much broken, because you can't replace these in an Xbox 360 because it has to be the genuine one that it was manufactured with. Now, once you've got that, you can go ahead and put the bottom plate back on, just like that. And then we're going to put this back into the 360. So, put the power port back on. Then put the SATA cable back on. Just there. Beautiful. Alright. Now at this point, you want to turn your Xbox back on. So we'll move all the shit that we've put in there. Plug it back in. You only really want the HDMI and the power plugged in, and a USB drive if you're going to be installing to a USB, just like this. So, with your controller, you want to power up the Xbox, because as you see, there's no buttons on the front of it to actually power it up. It'll run fine in that state. It won't have any problems, or it won't overheat or anything like that. Okay. So, what we want to do now is eject the disk tray and take a modded disk out of this case, the actual disk. We're going to put that into the Xbox. Now, you see, underneath there is your magnet for your CD tray. Now, I'm not going to take apart this magnet, but you'd have to rip those stickers off, disassemble the magnet, and put it back into a position where it's like that. This is the magnet of my old 360, so I'm just going to use that in this case. Push the Xbox back in like that, and then pop the magnet back on top, and it will load World at War. And I'll see you over on the Xbox. Alright guys, so once you're on the Xbox, you're going to see this screen when you've got your World at War loaded into your Xbox. You want to press X on it, and you want to press install. Now, it's a good idea to have a USB plugged into your Xbox at this point, because it won't go straight into installing the game. It'll actually pause for a moment, and it will let you pick this as a device to install it to. So while it's in that screen, you're going to want to just gently put your fingers on the top of the disc, slow it down, take it off, swap the disc out, and then that's it, done. Pick the USB, and the disc should boot up and start installing just like that. And I'll meet you guys when it's finished installing.
Alright guys, so once you've installed ProjectX to your USB, you can go ahead and reassemble your Xbox exactly the same way as we just took it apart. You can give your modded disk to one of your friends, as you're not going to need it again. Please leave a comment down below if you have any problems, like the video if it helped you mod your Xbox 360 E, and I'll catch you all later.